What is up, sports fans, and welcome back to another episode of Pez's Picks. I'm Jeff Hartman. I am not the guy with the picks. In this case, that is my man Pez. What's up, Pez? How are you?
Jeff, believe it or not, it's a blizzard here in Killington, Vermont. Spring break week. It never fails. Easter week, Passover week, whatever you want to call it. You get snow every year, and there's nobody here. It's so empty, Jeff. They've closed all the bars midweek on the mountain, which tells you it's very empty.
Wow.
I don't know why anyone comes skiing in Vermont before end of March, April. We'll get snow all day. We'll get sun. We'll be in t-shirts tomorrow. This place, we're dialing in too, Jeff. We're back on the winning streak. Big win last Monday night for the national championship. We got baseball, and we got the Masters. I mean, what better? Is there a better week, Jeff? I know with your fairways and dreams, this is it for you. This is the Daytona 500, the World Series, the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the Kentucky Derby, whatever you want to call it, it is. It's it. I love the Masters week. There's so much. I guess here's why I love the Masters so much. Rarely ever does it disappoint. You know, you have these big events, and even a Super Bowl. Sometimes you're like, that Super Bowl kind of sucked. Last Super Bowl kind of sucked, if you ask me.
Horrible.
But the Masters, maybe it's just because I'm a golf sicko. Man, it never disappoints. There's always excitement. There's always storylines. There's always a dramatic finish. I love it. I love everything about it. We'll talk about the Masters, though. Let's talk about the NCAA tournament that just wrapped up. We were able to find a Final Four was a little rough. Finished strong, though, with a W in the national championship game as Michigan goes on to win. What were your final takeaways here on the NCAA tournament?
You know, I mean, we'll admit it, Jeff. We got lucky. The lines could not be tighter. I think the game went off about 6.5. UConn was getting. They covered by half a point. It comes down to foul shots at the end of the game. I mean, we had a couple misses from Michigan at the end. You had UConn hit a big three, and this is this is exactly what betting on basketball is, Jeff. It's foul shots in the last minute of the game. It's coaching, and I gotta give it to Danny Hurley, a guy, really watched this team the last couple of rounds. The best recruiter right now in college basketball. He does not recruit, just off of a list as a top 5, top 10 guy, top 20 blue chip guys. He's recruiting guys for his system, which is basically defend like hell, rebound harder than any team, and gun threes, Jeff. I mean, this team guns threes like I've never seen. They're long, and I came up a little bit short. Some of those threes were dropping in the second half. And, Michigan, probably the best team we've had since Fat Five, a great time in the early 90s with some of the best players I've ever seen, Jalen Rose, Chris Webber in the college game. So a great tournament. I think this tournament was way better than last year's tournament. We had a couple buzzer beaters. UConn, a great run. And, we had a little bit of a mix-up where we didn't have just number 1 seeds. And I don't know, a little bit of a letdown. Arizona let us down. They got cold. I think you had a little bit of youth situation and shooting there. And Illinois, same thing. I think in the end, UConn probably was not 4 or 5 best teams, but the best coach team and the best system team. And it's great to see basketball teams get to the championship running a system and not just having dominant guys that are leaving in a year.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And it was an exciting game, and it was an exciting finish. There was at least something notable to talk about, and I'm referring to the Duke UConn game. It's been a while, like you said this last week. It's been a while since we've had a moment like that in college basketball where everyone's like, wow, like I can't believe that happened. So I thought overall it was a good tournament. You agree or disagree?
I think this tournament kind of brought us back to the excitement. I think next year it'll happen even more. COVID, having the big rosters, guys 27 years on your team, that's a thing of the past now. So I think we'll start to see some of the small majors, the minor major teams start to make some runs again. I loved last night's game, though, Jeff. From a gambling perspective, and I don't know if they probably don't talk about it as much. They could. In golf, they bring up betting a little bit more, but the game was kind of seemed like it was over with about 30, 40 seconds left. It was close, but it didn't look like Michigan's going to lose. But for the gambler, it was the most exciting time of the game. My phone was blowing up. You're counting foul shots, miracle threes. You hope a guy doesn't foul a guy with a second left. So in a gambling sense, we couldn't have asked for a more exciting finish. And we're proud that we had UConn and we got behind them yesterday. 7.5, I thought was an insult to them, and that was too many points. And 6 points turned out to about be the right spread, and 6.5 covers if you got that tip. But if you took our play, it was easy. But my phone was blowing up. Most people start shutting games off, but for gamblers, even if it's a 16, 20-point spread, those foul shots, there's nothing more exciting. There's nothing more painful either, Jeff. I mean, I condone drinking at the end of a basketball game. I think that lightens the moment. I'm not asking people to go out and get drunk or drive or anything like that. But, a beer, maybe a tequila. The kids drink these tequila in clubs now, Jeff. I don't know where that came from. I don't think that's a true way. I think tequila should only be drank in a margarita or a shot, Jeff. But back to basketball. God bless this tournament. I mean, we needed it. We needed to get to some exciting sports again after that Super Bowl and to roll into the Masters. This is a great sports month. April,
It is.
very underrated sports month. Opening of baseball, things start cooking up a little bit, and then we roll right into Kentucky Derby. It's good. We got a lot to do next 3 months, Jeff. We got the World Cup coming too. I can't forget about that. Soccer betting, probably worse than hockey betting, Jeff. I know you're a hockey guy, but you can't bet on that. It's too ridiculous. Soccer, ridiculous. But we'll bet on it. We're going to bet on it. We'll bet on that Stanley Cup.
Yeah,
I think we're going to get into it.
I mean, you have the hockey playoffs are coming in, and teams are clinching their spots. NBA's coming to a close. Baseball's just getting started. The NFL draft's coming up at the end of the month. You talk about things like the Masters and the Kentucky Derby. This is a great time for sports.
Fantastic.
Let's talk about the NBA. How have your plays been going there?
We've been on a pretty good run, Jeff. We're closing in. I think we're a little bit over 60% right now, and we're just trying to figure out what the last 4 or 5 games of the regular season. You have to be very careful. What teams are playing for. We're looking at 17, 18-point lines. 12-point line is a normal thing now, and that's a ton of points. How hard are teams playing that are completely out of it, that are tanking? You do have young guys on those teams that are trying to earn a spot for next year. So they're going to give maximum effort. How many starters are playing minutes? These are all kind of the pitfalls end of NBA season. But if you pick competitive games, and we're recording on Tuesday, tonight we're taking Boston -4.5 at home, hosting Charlotte, who's been a hot team. I think Boston's coming on. I can't believe how good Tatum looks, Jeff, coming off that Achilles injury last year. I learned a lot about Achilles injuries. If you get surgery less than 24 hours from tearing it, the recovery time and the healing time in the future is unbelievably better than if you wait. And he did. He was in New York when he blew that out. That guy looks dynamite. Boston, we should have put this out a week or two ago. Probably a great future play right now to win the NBA championship. Probably going to get against Oklahoma City. Lakers looking a little bit beat up now with the hamstring injury from Luka. But I think you have to pick teams that are competitive, playing for something. Very, very risky to lay 17, 18 points, especially when the team that's laying that is locked into a position and the other team, you just don't know what you're getting. I mean, these are all right. They're the best players in the world. Even guys you don't know their names that are, coming to 8th, 9th, 12th guy off the roster probably is still one of the best athletes in the world. And that's something to keep in play when you're putting action on these games.
All right. So NBA, we got some plays coming up, and obviously any plays that we're talking about are going to be at PezZPicks.com. Again, PEZSPicks.com. It is a pay site. We're giving you our premium picks, and we want to make sure that you all get those. So again, PezZPicks.com. Let's talk baseball. Baseball, how's it been going? It's early on. You started out hot. Has that cooled down, or are you still red hot?
We're still winning, Jeff. Baseball plays have been light. We're 5-3 to start the season here. I think you bet light early. Pitchers are kind of on, a limited inning count, 5-6 innings. So some people like the 5-inning bet. I'm not a big fan of that. I think you're kind of putting a lot of things into play. Will the pitcher, make it to 5 innings? With that Skeens action last, his first time out, looked like a different guy than the second time out. So I think when you make a play, you're going to bank on a pitcher. You're going to bank on the bullpen, closer, hitting. I don't like the 5-inning bets, Jeff. I know the kids love them, but we're not doing that. Today, skiing in a blizzard. We got a few inches of fresh snow. I was feeling really good, Jeff. We were looking early in the morning, about 8 a.m. We've got Skeens pitching today, laying 148. And then I look down, I got my guy Scooball. I mean, he's laying about 190 right now. I'm deciding that we're going to take the day off in baseball, which I think behooves the future, especially of your bank account, your gambling account. You don't want to get too excited over these early season games. I don't think you're getting the best stuff yet. These guys are trying to pitch till October, November. You make the series, so I think you have to tread lightly. You got Yamamoto pitching with the Dodgers tonight. We looked at that as well. When you're laying 2-1, 150-1, I don't think that's a wise bet at this point in the season. I do think the Yankees, Jeff, would be a solid play right now to win the World Series. I think that's a team that's going to get better. When you look at the pitching staff they have, when you have Schlettinger and you've got some studs that are guys that have been around for a while on that team, we'll be putting future bets out in the next couple of weeks. You want to make sure you get injuries, or people are going to make it through the whole season here. So baseball been great, good start coming off that international tournament. But this is going to be something we're going to be betting in a handicap way. We're not going to be playing every day. We might not have a game for a couple of days. We might have 2 games. It's going to be pitching matchups and who we like on the road. So we do have a play tonight. It's a Tuesday night, and we're going to be taking the Brewers plus 135 at the Red Sox, Jeff. And I'm in Vermont, so I got to be careful. These people love the Red Sox up here. But a great pitching matchup. You've got Mizorowski against Crochet. Mizorowski, I think one of the better pitchers in baseball. Guy's 6'7", 200 pounds, coming in with a 2.4 ERA. I like Milwaukee. I think is a better hitting team than Boston. So I think we're getting a huge discount, and we're getting money back. Plus 135, Milwaukee at Boston, Tuesday night. I love it all day, Jeff. And that's kind of what we're looking for. When you're getting free money, you jump on it early in baseball, especially April.
All right, so when Pez is talking about these picks, make sure you go to Pez'sPicks.com for the latest and greatest there. Again, pay site, but make sure you go to Pez'sPicks.com. All right, let's dive into, I think, what is one of the greatest sporting events of the year, and that is the Masters. I don't know. Where do you want to start, Pez? Like, I have so much information here. It's ridiculous. I got it oozing out of my ears. But where do you want to start?
Well, I think there's a pretty good, Rory and Scotty number to look at. We haven't had a guy win who took 3 weeks off before the tournament since, I believe, 2013.
Yeah.
And, I don't know how much that comes into play. I'm not taking Rory, Jeff. I don't think, this is his dream come true. He's having this big dinner. I think it's a distraction to Rory not having Tiger and Phil at that dinner. I think it's a distraction to him and a lot of the players. What do they say about Tiger? Some of these guys are coming in a little harder on him. There are guys that I don't think it's going to be a distraction. I don't think Scheffler is distracted by anything, Jeff. I mean, this guy, I'm not saying he doesn't care about Tiger. The man was arrested and went to jail and came back and played in a major and played well, Jeff. So this guy, Scotty Scheffler, unflappable. And, we put a video out yesterday. Him at plus 550 right now, I think is a phenomenal number, right? It's something we talk about a lot. We're putting another video out. I think the best 3 deals you're getting: Shambo plus 1,000 after Scheffler, and Bobby McIntyre at plus 3,000. It just seems, a chubby British Scottish kid just seems like a Masters winner to me, Jeff. It just seems like it, right? We have a lot of chubby guys that have won the Masters over the years. There's Angel Cabrera, the Argentinian bull who went to jail also, Jeff, which is awesome. Patrick Reed, chubby guy. We've had a lot of Daly never won, but a lot of good chubby touch players. And McIntyre comes in hot, plus 3,000. Shambo, I don't know how he's not the favorite, right? I mean, he dominates when he plays well. He's playing well. I think he's won 2 or 3 of the live competitions already this year.
Yeah,
and I think he made a calculated error last year. He tried playing safe in the final round, and Rory blasted it by him on a number of holes. And I don't think we're going to see that happen with him again.
Yeah, it's really tough to gauge these live players. We say it every year in every major, but it's true. John Rahm has won events as well. Obviously, Bryson DeChambeau has won events. I don't know how that's going to measure up in a Masters tournament. I do think both of those guys, in terms of the best live golfers, which you can bet on that top live golfer, I got Bryson at plus 174. He's not the odds-on favorite. Rahm is actually, but a little bit of a side bet there since we're talking live golf.
Well, am I wrong, Jeff? Shambo, the only live golfer to win a major? Is that right? I'm trying to
No,
think in my head.
Rahm has won the Masters. He won in 2023.
While he was on live?
No.
Oh no, I'm
Yeah.
saying while playing for live.
No, Koepka left in 2022 and he won a major. I think it was the PGA Championship in 2023.
Did he? Okay. Yeah. All right. But it's tough. I mean, now
Yeah.
maybe going back to this 4-round format they're playing at live. Shambo, I don't think he's phased. I think he can lock in like a Scheffler. You know, the greatest players in Koepka, we used to see do this too. I think he physically just kind of fell apart. I think Rahm has some focus issues since he's been on the live tour. You know, I think he has too much to prove almost. For Shambo, the guy's just out there making money. I mean, he admits it. I'm here to make money. This is a sport that I do as a job, and I like his chances a lot. It doesn't seem like we're going to get too much rain, and the course should be hot. So I love him, and you know we love Spieth too. I think Spieth. I think we're at plus 4,500. I got a sneaky feeling he's going to be in it, Jeff. I just think this guy plus 4,500. You can't. He's a quirky dude, and a lot of them I heard. I think it was Brad Faxon on the Augusta show today said there are guys that when they pull down that road, something changes in them, and the best play comes out of them. Phil Mickelson, we've seen do this a lot too. I do have to say it's a sad Masters tournament. I think the first one in 25, 26 years where we don't have Phil and Tiger.
Yep.
You know, it's kind of a turning of the page. Makes me feel old too, Jeff. It's unbelievable. What the hell? 25, 26 years I've been watching these guys play. Two of the greatest Masters golfers ever, and that'll come into our top 5 today. But I love the youth that we have on tour right now, and you know I love the mixture of different styles of play. You've got the Bhatia guy who's a little bit more of a shot maker. You got the bombers with Shambo, Ken Scheffler kind of get out of this kind of mini funk he's in, and you know the Euros, the British and the Scottish guys are coming in hot too. I don't know if Fitzpatrick has the game to win there. It's just something weird about it. I know he does that kind of. Doesn't he do that left hand low chipping? I don't think you're winning.
Yeah.
I don't think you're winning the Masters when you don't know how you're holding the club with chipping, Jeff. You got to be locked in. People don't really understand. It's not really a driving course that's very difficult. It's a short game course, and I know his iron play is great, but I don't know if his chipping is going to be good enough. It'd be fun to have a Minwoo Lee kind of make a run. It kind of seems like a Masters kind of guy.
Well, while we were recording, the tee times came out. And so what they always do is they want featured groups spread out. Scotty is going to be a late Thursday, early Friday tee time.
Okay.
And
I like that.
Rory is the opposite. He is early Thursday, late Friday. Everyone has a different opinion, but I just wanted to bring that up. My boy Freddie Couples is a late Thursday. So it's good because I want to see how Freddie does. He's playing with Minwoo Lee in an amateur. That ought to be a lot of fun.
Freddie Couples, you know, I wonder if there's odds out there on him making the cut, Jeff. I mean,
yeah, there are. I think it's like plus 425. I saw this morning on DraftKings for Freddie to make the cut. Almost recommended that to my Fairways and Dreams listeners, but I just couldn't in my right mind, so I just avoided it.
Well, I think that might not be a bad play. You know, for the older guys, you know, there's no rain in the forecast. It's going to be mid 70s to low 80s on the weekend. I think that helps anybody like a Couples or a Tiger. It's unfortunate what happened, but anybody with a back injury, they want hot temps, and this probably bodes well for older guys. Older guys warm up a little bit better, and you know down there, if you know the course, you get some run on the ball. I think Couples was it plus 425?
It's like plus 425. Yeah,
we're taking that, Jeff. We're taking. We're gonna put that out. Freddie Couples.
I'll get you the actual. I'll get you the actual odds before you put it out there.
We're taking it.
All right. I love that. I love that.
You know, and I kind of like, you know, I think for a Scheffler, it's probably an advantage going out later. You get to watch in the morning and see how the course is playing. You know, and a lot of times, you know, that who knows how that course is going to play. They literally, I just learned this a couple of years ago. They hire groundskeepers from around the country to work the hole after every shot. When the camera moves on, they have guys run out and they sow grass back into the divot, Jeff. It's what? Who runs this course? What? How do we get on
hold on. It's not. That's at the end of the day.
Down there sowing it, Jeff.
That's at the end of the day. At the end of the day, they go out and they have wherever the balls are landing. Typically, they go out and they replace all those divots. And yes, they do so in that section of turf. It's not during the.
They've got Oompa Loompas after every shot cleaning their clubs. They're changing the grass. I remember a tree fell. They cleaned it up in like 12 minutes. So
Yeah.
a great place. I know that Fans First Sports Network, they put a bid in with us and McAfee to get a show there, Jeff. We got denied. I don't know. Maybe it's a Grateful Dead shirt. I don't know what it is. Could we talk more about Jason Day and these stupid outfits, Jeff? This story keeps popping up. I think Jason Day should be banned. The fact we have to talk about him wearing some stupid duck and bird hunting vest and whether that's legal, he's getting free advertising, Jeff.
Yeah.
We should be down there. Jason Day not making the cut. Let's bet against that too. Too much of a distraction. They're not going to let it happen. I can't wait, and we're going to be putting. We'll look at. We don't like these exotic bets, but we're going to take a look at some of these. And I kind of like best live guy, winner without McIlroy, Shambo, Rahm, Scheffler. I think there's a lot of value in that. So if you took, if you take like a Hideki Matsuyama at plus 1,700, that's a pretty good play, right? Winner without McIlroy, Shambo, Rahm, Scheffler. I kind of like that returning champion. His game's playing, pretty well right now. He got a great compliment. Jack said this week, by far the greatest Champions dinner he's ever had was Hideki Matsuyama. That seems like good luck to me, Jeff. When the Golden Bear is blessing you, that's fantastic. So, how do we get to that dinner? Right? I guess you got to win. And I read they changed the locker room and they've added on a new players room. I think the Champions room's there the same where you have your locker. I heard a great story Bones McKay told about Phil Mickelson. You hear mixed things about Phil. Is he a good guy or not? Apparently, there are guys that work the locker room. They get to know the guys that play it every year, like Phil. And the first time he won, Bones is waiting in the parking lot for him. He said he looks over at his car. He sees these people hugging him. He goes, he thought it was like his brother or something. It was the locker room guys who were hugging him, thanking him for all the tips he's given. Phil, I hear, is not a cheap guy. He tips well. That to me warmed me up that these guys that we don't know, we're thanking him for all the years of tips and generosity. And that's a great thing about golf. You get to know the people. It's a personal sport. We're getting there. Maybe next year, Jeff, we'll talk to John Daly. We could work his tent. I think the tent, Hooters closed. I can't. I think it's Buffalo Wild Wings down the street or something. Maybe we'll get a job working there.
There you go. All right, Pez, let's do some top five. I'm sure it's a Masters edition to round out the show.
You're going to like this one, Jeff. Top five. Pez's picks, top five greatest Masters players that we've seen. Number 5, Hideki Matsuyama. One of the classiest players ever. His caddy bowing to the course solidifies him in the top 5 for me ever. Number 5, Hideki Matsuyama. Number 4, Aniol Cabrera. I believe they call him the Bull. The man went to jail, Jeff. One of my favorite fat players of all time. I think one of the more underrated Masters players I've ever seen. Number 4, Aniol Cabrera. Number 3, Patrick Reed. You could not get a bigger dick in the world to win the Masters. This guy did it under suspicion of cheating. They're watching him. He stared down the world, Jeff, one of the toughest guys to ever play golf. I look for big things coming out of him going forward. Number 2, Phil Mickelson. Unbelievable, classy, short play, the best left-handed golfer, in my opinion, ever. And number 1, Jeff, because I didn't get to see Jack in this highlight, Tiger Woods, the greatest Masters golfer. Even if I had seen Jack, I'd be saying this, the greatest Masters golfer of all time. Him winning 6-7 years ago at the age of whatever he was, 45, one of the greatest sports feats I think anyone will ever see. Broken leg, broken back, almost taken out. I think it was the 17th or 18th. He was hitting out of the rough, and a guy came running out and slid in and almost took his knee out, Jeff. Unbelievable. He had to get up and down from about 50 yards from the pin on 18, and he did. I think he made a 4-footer, the ballsiest putt I think anyone will ever make. God bless him, Tiger Woods. I hope he's getting better.
All right, folks, it is Masters weekend. We'll be back next week to talk about how everything played out at the Masters. If you want my specific picks, go to Fairways and Dreams, wherever you get your podcasts. You can check those out there. I do my press podcast every Wednesday. Pez, any final thoughts? Are we good?
We're going next year, Jeff. I'm going to be talking with the CEO, our legal team. Maybe we'll have to sue Augusta. I think we got the scratch to do it, but we're going to get on the grounds. We're going to be doing a podcast on the grounds next year, Jeff. Watch it. It's going to happen. Lock it up on that.
You don't have to tell me twice. All right. Thanks for your time, Pez. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the golf. We'll talk next week.